Hi, everyone. We're back. This is episode 10. Woohoo! So fun. Can't believe it. Welcome back, of course, to Mystics at the Grocery Store. We are here with a fun topic today. Of course, very seasonally focused. We're going to be talking about the winter solstice, which is very exciting. How that kind of represents where we are in the year. We're going to be talking about a little bit of like our relationship to the darkness and what this kind of transition creates as we move through the end of the calendar year and into next year. So it's a very exciting time. Yeah, I know personally I've been enjoying the dark and all the lovely things, cozy vibes and all the things. And the time that it kind of makes me feel like I have an excuse to be a little bit more restful in a way of like, oh, I don't need to go out too much in the evening. I can kind of stay in. But yeah, we'll just check in really quick. How are we doing? Adrienne, how are you?
Um, well, you guys know my side story, but I'm still going to say I'm doing okay. I too have really been enjoying this darkness. For me, I love the darkness. It's very, very comfortable in it. But I've really been enjoying in that inner looking, that inner work. Like, okay, here we are coming to the end of this, and what about this year was something that you're going to carry into next year? And what about this year that you learned from? You're like, yeah, I'm not taking that with me because it didn't, or maybe I'm going to adjust it. Um, so that's I've been doing a lot of, and also creating a couple of new courses that are just like downloading. And so I'm really, really excited about those. Of course, they're going to be related to astrology, but it's going to be for spiritual nerds and healers of all sorts, because when you're in the nursing industry as well, like, you just get burnt out and stressed. And sometimes you forget why you actually decided to come into this field. So
That's so exciting.
that's where I'm at.
I can't wait to see them. Melinda, how are you?
I am well. I am in the flow of lots of exciting things. Just regular life. Teaching is fun. Creating I just did a fun interview for Mythic Mel podcast with my body worker, a fellow Taurus. That's going to come out in the mid-month. And it was just fun to riff with somebody, and it was like live and in person, and I'd never done that before. So, and she was very brave to like take this step to like show up and shine in a way she never has, to have her story heard, and just like I'm excited to share her in that platform, and I'm still kind of riding on that energy. I just love it when people who have been just doing this very humble work, just this work that's changing lives, like you just said, Adrienne, about nurses and caregivers, and then they just get to be recognized
Yeah.
as the earth goddesses that they are, as the people healing and helping others. And it's just like that moment and that pause to do that. And like she received all of my praise very, very well. She's like, you were gushing. I was like, well, I mean, you really have changed my body and my life. So yes, I'm gushing.
That's so sweet.
We need to appreciate each other. So
A
that's
hundred
it.
percent. 100%. Yeah. I think this darker season is the first time in a really long time that I've really, really loved it. And I've like really loved, like Adrienne was saying, like all the internal exploration and like sitting in the darkness and sitting in the depths and just like going there. But also kind of like mirroring both of you all, like lots of creative things coming forth that are kind of ideas that just spring up out of nowhere. And I'm kind of just running with them and having fun with them and being creative, which is always so fun and exciting, and especially when it feels very inspired because it keeps the momentum going. Yeah, been all over, lots of things whirling around, things like I feel like I have two, not two lives. I don't know how to, maybe like two lenses, like
Yeah.
two sets of glasses. Like when I'm in real world, I'm like, I put on a certain pair of glasses and it's like, whoa, like what is going on? This is crazy. All these things happening. And then it's like I put on my Reiki, my meditative glasses, and it's like, no, we're good. We're in the zone, we're in the flow. All that's gonna do and be, and I'm just gonna stay in my with the lenses I prefer.
I think we need to create a mystics sunglass brand,
I was just thinking the
right?
same
I
thing.
we were vibing.
Absolutely.
There we
Just
go.
thinking,
That would
like,
be
what
so
design
funny.
would it be on the outside? Because we already know that's got to be tinted so that
Mm-hmm.
they can't necessarily see your eyes unless you
Oh,
want them to see your eyes. Because you'd be like,
that's hilarious.
I
you
mean,
know,
Visions for the future. A
yeah.
future merch line.
stay tuned for
We are
more.
so in this for the money.
Oh yeah, totally. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. I love that. Okay, let us hop into our discussion. So, winter solstice, beautiful time. We were talking a little bit before hopping on, and I want to revisit kind of what we said because, as Adrienne said when we were off, it was profound. Adrienne mentioned, and she can jump in here after I summarize, but how the winter solstice is the longest, darkest day, but it is also this threshold moment of moving into a time of more light. And so we've spent all of this time in the growing darkness, feeling through all of that, and then we can come through. So I don't know if we want to talk a little bit about our relationship to the darkness, how we see the darkness, or if we want to jump into how we're shifting. What do y'all want to talk about first?
I think both of them are pretty significant. For me, like I was saying earlier, I'm very, very comfortable in the darkness. But for me, I also take that time to like just really strip off any criticisms, any self judgments, and even, I've learned really, really good. Like if somebody's criticizing or judging me, I'm like, okay, I do that enough on my own. I don't need yours. So thank you. Mind your
Truth.
own business, kind of a thing. But at that time, when you're in that darkness, for me, it's just stripped away, criticisms, just push them away. Okay, this is what occurred. I like this about what occurred, or I don't like this about what occurred, or maybe I'm taking this with me, or maybe I'm not taking that with me, but I'm still thankful for whatever it was because I learned, first of all, I didn't like it. I've learned how I'm going to adjust it. I've always approached life as like the scientist that every situation that I'm in, whatever mixtures were in there in this big, beautiful soup that I'm making, like a relationship or a relationship as far as like being with somebody like community or whatever, when you're meeting somebody for the first time or when you've known somebody for the first time, whatever memories you're going to bring to this soup, to this dinner, you know and um I totally forgot where I was going with this. Oh, keeping it simple, just like really keeping it simple. And so like if I really didn't like the way that evening turned out, or I didn't like the way that conversation turned out, what could I have done differently? um what else could I have brought to it? And then learning what I could have done differently and not just being like, "I'm just it's like, okay, well, maybe next time I'll do it this way. Or even when you're in community and you're sitting there and you're not participating, there were definitely times where I was like, I'm going to sit and observe. But the things that I observed, I took note of and I journaled all about it, that kind of a thing. So for me, I give myself that time in the darkness to be vulnerable, to take away any self-criticisms, to take away any judgments, and to really just learn from the experiences that I had. Because for me, this from solar year, this current solar year is about how I'm living. I'm deciding to live each day, each moment. And that's what's super important to me.
Yeah.
And to
That
not
really,
like, oh, go ahead, Melinda.
no, I was going to say that really highlights the power of your ability to do shadow work and to be present for, yeah, the discomforts.
That was exactly what I was going to say.
We're vibing.
In
We're
other
all
words, but
vibing.
like totally. I was
No,
just
say
going to
your
give
words,
props.
because your words are really to the point. Generally, my words are like,
No. No, I was just going to say, yeah, it's such a beautiful thing to see, like knowing you, Adrienne, but like also just this season in general. It's like if you cannot be afraid of going into the depths and into the darkness of the things that you do personally or how like things make you feel, if you can really look at it, so much growth comes from that and so much just honest human connection and observation. And I don't know, I feel like when you're willing to look at the darkness, I think you're probably also more willing to not judge yourself or hold any types of attachments or stories as often. When you're like, let me just sit with this, let me just review what just happened and how I feel or what I did. I definitely think just being open really leads to a lot of understanding.
yeah.
So funny, like you when you were saying that, the monster in the closet kept coming up. Because we all watched a creepy movie when we were young, and we're like, that is just disturbing, but it was just so good. You were like, oh my gosh. And then that night, you're like, oh, is there a monster in my closet? I can remember many days tapping my sister on the shoulder, going, can I come into bed with you? But when you actually open that closet, there's no monster there, you know.
Yeah.
And then sitting with review. That's why I love retrogrades. Right? If I get another chance to look at the exam before I hand that in, I want to see it again. I want to check my answers to make sure. Yep, I agree with that one. I'm a little fuzzy on this one, but let me just move to the next one. So yeah, that was coming up for me when you said that. But Melinda, you didn't really answer the question about how you feel in the darkness and what you're
Call
bringing
her
forward.
out.
Yeah, I want to know.
Tell us.
Okay. What came to mind for me was another perspective on like where I go for the darkness. So what came to mind, no, what came to mind was like I have a place I go on shamanic journeys, for example, right? And it's to a cave. It's deep in Mother Earth. It's like I've gone through these various parts of my initiation to the cave before I get there. There's a cleansing, there's a journey, there's there's a purification at a fire. It's a whole thing. And I've been there many times. And there in the cave, I will meet guides who are going to highlight aspects of whatever it is that I'm going through in my life, or even things I'm not even aware are things, but they are. After a guide steps in and shows me a way to approach something in a new way. And things happen in this cave that are very surprising, which is how I know it's like both the brilliance of the energetic work that is done often in the darkness of like either, your eyes closed and you're going on a journey for me, it's often this dark place, but it's a place of comfort. And when you close your eyes and you're in that type of darkness, experiencing that way, the sensory all illuminate, and so you're able to exist in the darkness in this heightened sensory way. The smells are more vivid. the feathers feel more, with our eyes closed, we're not having to kind of, there's this energy of extroversion or something active, and it's just a place to be in reflection, and but without light, so it's like a dark reflection. So it's a voidy kind of a place to receive information. So that's when I think of this time like that, it gives us more opportunity to cozy into that, to that vibe. And yeah, and then deal with whatever is feeling shadowy in your life, get messages around that.
I'm so glad you told us about the visual because that immediately took me to like a series of journeys that I had going to a specific place with like a cleansing element and then like a place I would sit, and I totally forgot about it for like this whole time, and then it just came back. I was like, I need to try that again. But I love what you said about that and like the void, and where it took my mind was like thinking to our personal journeys. Have we always been comfortable in the darkness and like cozy in the darkness? And I'm like, well, no, of course not. Like at some point we were scared of it, not wanting to see, feeling vulnerable in the darkness. Because I think about like how I feel now when I kind of go to those places, and it's like I feel so comfortable and safe within myself that I know I have nothing to fear in the darkness. And then within like being in that type of alignment, but also knowing you have this divine support of all of your guides and spirit and all the things that support you along your path in this lifetime and every lifetime. It's just neat to kind of compare how the darkness would have felt before and then how it feels now.
You're right.
Because the difference is like, whoa, I can be in the darkness and just be like, yeah, bring it on. I feel so good. But before I would have been almost terrified.
You're right.
That brings me back to, like good things happen in the dark. Like birthing, it's created in the dark. Fetus is developed in the dark. There's no probably crying because the light's coming in now. It's that. They're coming out of that nice cozy place again, which is dark. Seeds grow, most seeds. Like there are some things that you can grow in water, which I really love those things. But they grow in the darkness and they are reaching for the light, which, is the next step. It's like, this is the longest night. And now the days are going to start getting longer. What are you going to rebirth in this new light? Like what's coming forward? Like what things did you learn? Even if it's just as small as it, I don't want to say small, like to take away from, but like writing down what are your blind spots is a step. That's a step. You don't have to decipher, you don't have to peel them apart, you don't have to strip them at this point in time. Just writing them down, what are your blind spots, is still considered a step. And how are you going to take that into the light of this next cycle, this next year that's coming up? So, Rosalind, Rosalind, what about you? Like, what are some of the blind spots that you noticed and that you're going to take into this new light differently, the same?
Yeah, I think some of my blind spots, at least the ones that need to be addressed, have really been coming to the surface. And for me, which is the theme of my spiritual journey, is mental discipline and understanding how I think I have Mercury and Aries. I think that's in my chart. Things like that. So my mind often is my own worst enemy. And so I think a lot of the blind spots of that have really been revealed in the last, year, 6 months, whatever. And just ways that setting the intention to be open and aware of when mental loops, mental stories, mental attachments come up. I think setting the intention to be, I guess, divinely supported in seeing that, because it's like hard to describe, but like before, if something was happening in my mind and all of a sudden my emotions, my whole body, all my elements, everything starts to like get really wonky and out of place, I might not have realized that I started it from within, in whatever mental loop I was partying in. But because I've really tried to focus on that this year and really get to the meat and the depth of the connection between thinking and feeling, and the connection between, heart, mind, emotion, I'm really able to see when those loops or those previously created like circuits light up when they, not that they shouldn't, I mean it's human that we have those things, but like light up when they don't have to, or light up when they need a little bit of love and attention and rerouting and unattaching somewhere in the brain and reattaching in the better way. So that's where a lot of my blind spots are, is just in the mental jungle of how the mind works and how it just, I think to Hermeticism and the first law of all is mind, and like everything, our entire existence, our entire everything is created from the mind. So so many layers have come to my awareness this year of like just how that works. And I know I don't know a lot still. So I'm excited that I've become aware of how it works for me and the ways that I can start to readjust in that way. But I know there's so much more to come. So yeah,
So
those are my
is the mental jungle another metaphor for monkey mind?
yeah, I
It
guess
always
so.
about some wildness, like, oh, monkey mind, well, mental jungle. Here's the next layer. We've got
Yes,
everybody's crazy.
I think so. I think so. Yeah, Melinda, blind spots. Do you have any?
Well, it's interesting because a few years ago, that was the image that came to me, was that I had a blind spot. Like it was a download. I was like, I have a blind spot. What is this blind spot? Came in just like that. And that led me to a greater awareness, like of my back body, of like seeing myself, like an image came of seeing myself in that from all the sides, front and back and sides, which is an interesting exercise energetically to do. Because sometimes even in dance, I invite people to feel into what's behind them, not just focus on what's in front of them, because oftentimes everybody's oriented to front. And we cannot see, we don't have eyes in the back of our head that are these kind of physical eyes, but there are eyes in the back of our head on different levels. So you start to tune into those, and it brings things up that you might not have considered, or it makes you understand that you might move a different way if you fill up that space with awareness, with light. I went on a journey to like understand even what is a blind spot and how can you even identify that you have one. Okay, if I didn't have like a very literal drop in of like, if a blind, I literally was like, I can't see something. I can't see something. I was like, what is that? And really it's part of the unfolding of my spiritual journey, or my awareness about myself, that something needed to be seen, to expand. And like Rosalind, you were talking about some kind of a recircuiting energy. Like I feel like the more we understand our energy flow, and then understand when there's, I don't know, blockages or things where you're just like resist. You don't want to go through that pathway, or and you just, and then things happen and things do get recircuited. Things get not just recircuited, they've never maybe been circuited a certain way. Like I'm having that right now. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even know if I did this, this whole thing would open and I would understand all kinds of things more, and my throat chakra would open in a different way, and I would be doing things I never dreamed of because I was on this path of inquiry into my blind spot, whatever that is. Now, right now, I mean, I think just even the process of sitting and kind of asking, what is a blind spot? What is it? Can there be such a thing? And what does it look like? Because I think it's going to be different for everybody. And how do you identify it for yourself? I think it's a unique kind of, because it's such a rich word, the blind spot. Is anything truly blind?
Well, and you have to admit you're out of control when you say you have a blind spot too. And that
Yeah,
can be scary.
and that you don't know. You just don't know. The mystery is there, and therefore the opportunity is there. So it's like that's where I go with that.
Yeah,
So
I'm just seeing like drawing the card from the bottom of the deck, how some people do that with tarot and oracle. And like, I think you're so right. Just asking or like being in meditation and saying, like, I'm open to seeing my blind spots. Show me where I need to like go into the darkness in this moment and heal something that needs to be healed. Yeah, that's so interesting. And it can be hard to do and it can be scary, but it'll lead to so much growth and so much, I don't know, we all just want to feel better. So you might as well look at the things that are secretly dragging you down when you don't even know it. Yeah.
yeah, like what is it? Yeah, I don't know. How about Adrienne? Do you have like a concrete, like how do you identify what is a blind spot?
Right? Is there really a concrete? Everything's fluid. Everything really is fluid. So, um, I would say a blind spot is something that you internally are aware of. You intuitively, internally, you are aware of, and yet maybe not really to bring it to word, maybe not ready to bring it all the way into thought, but you're aware intuitively, you just know your blind spots. Um, and while we've been in this time to really reflect on those blind spots, and now, how do we bring them forward, or do we bring them forward? That's really the question. And um, for me, it's like I said, it's those things that you may write down on a piece of paper. You may know about yourself, but yet you're like, I'm not ready to experience that. Or yeah, I don't believe that. I'm not listening to that just yet. Yeah, whatever. I wrote it down, but it's not really what I think, whatever. But then it's almost like now that you've spoken it, now that you've thought about it, you're going to continue to work on it. That's just the way the mind works. Air, it's like it's out there now. Now that it's out there, it's going to go somewhere. Air moves. Air is about movement. And whether or not you choose to just continue to hold it tight, 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 and maybe not look at it in the daylight, choice, absolute choice of yours. What discomfort, what diseases is it continuing to bring to you because you're like this and you're just not like, okay, I see it. I understand that spot. Might not be very clear. That's okay. But I understand it. I see it. I know it. Let's see what happens with it. So, being kind to yourself as you're looking at these blind spots, these blind topics. Um, kind to yourself, no judgments, no criticisms, just like really looking at them, maybe even giggling every once in a while, thinking about where they came from, releasing and forgiving those situations that put you at that blind spot per se. how you responded in that blind spot, how you feel about the blind spot, the fact that you haven't acknowledged it at this point up until, oh my gosh, how many years later, all that stuff. Girl, it's girl, guy, here we are. Breathe. Doesn't matter. Glad you know it. Let's take it with us. Let's see what we're going to make it bloom into for this upcoming year. What color are you going to make your roses now? Your carnations, your roses, your daisies, whatever. What color do you want to make them? That's what it's about.
I love that.
What you were saying too made me think of if people do like guided meditations online, there's often a lot of times that people put in a phrase of like, help me to release anything known or unknown, seen or unseen. And it's like, kind of like you were saying, like, as long as you start to acknowledge that something could be there, is there, whether you want to look at it or not, the energy will start moving around it in the way that it needs to either fully come to light or at least start to shift and heal in ways that it can still heal, even if maybe you don't feel you're 100% ready to address it. But just the acknowledgement, it's very powerful in itself. The other thing I was thinking of too, I just keep coming back to this visual of, Adrienne, I think you said the things that happen in the darkness, and I'm thinking of like the seed that we plant into the soil that then is in the darkness. There's a lot of seeds that like lay dormant over the colder months, and just like the idea of how, and this can get us into the shift here of how, the light is coming. We've been in this period of review and retrogrades and all that fun stuff, and we've now planted the seeds. They're in the soil, but the soil's cold, and maybe it has enough water, or maybe it hasn't had a whole lot of rain. The way that sometimes Reiki, when I work with people with Reiki, it can get very elemental, and I see the same visual sometimes when I work with people, but it's just this planting of the seed wherever it needs to be in the body, and then knowing that like either the light from the literal sun or spirit or the fire element, whatever is needed in this moment, comes in, warms the soil, and like in the magic of what creation and life is, somehow that mixed with, a little bit of water here and there, like the seed just has this ability to start to move and grow and break out of its little shell and reach for the light and reach for the warmth. And so we're definitely coming into that time of approaching the new year. Our winter solstice will be the shortest day, but in terms of sunlight, but we'll wake up the next day knowing that light is returning. So what kind of things come up for you all around that?
Go ahead, Melinda. Go ahead.
Well, I what came through was how many ancient cultures have honored that moment in their architecture. I remember doing I was doing a ritual class on the solstice, and that I went and collected images from ancient temples, or even Stonehenge, like these old ancient places where humans like set the entire structure up just to capture this moment of the first, like either the sunrise on the winter solstice or the sunset of the winter solstice. But like the entire enormous structure was set up to revere the moment and capture that, which is, so what brings to mind in part is we do, when we're just in our day-to-day life, sometimes get bogged down in this or that detail, pulled this way or that way, dealing with our own stuff, our own, even our own darkness, etc. And then suddenly the cosmos is like, this, this is an important moment, bigger than you. Receive it with awe. That's just what come through. I know. And then it takes you out of your little brain.
Yeah. Well, and it's like it would be so arrogant to discredit thousands of years of people recognizing the shifting of the stars and like the way that the sun's pattern is consistent and meaningful. I don't know, it just makes you think like don't dismiss it. Don't brush it under the rug that there are spiritual meanings that people give to these different seasons and times and events. And yeah, I don't know. Explore that for yourself because you might find some really interesting, juicy little nuggets that really resonate with you, that there is a reason that historically this is important. And I guess in preparation for this episode, I really should have done more research on that to be able to share.
No, I think it's perfect.
But here's the inspiration. Go make a Google. I don't know.
Go find it.
It's there. It's a Stonehenge and
There's
it's
so many more.
Karnak in Egypt. It's in Glastonbury, England. It's in Brittany, France. Karnak, another one. It's these just, and it's just saying on that day, which Adrienne and Rosalind remind me exactly of the day because sometimes it's like one day and then sometimes another, in December 20th or 21st?
21st.
21st. Okay. So on the 21st,
This time.
this time, sorry, you can just either be mindful of the sunrise moment or maybe the sunset moment. Maybe we just, because it's, the solstice comes from the Latin, the sun stands still. This is a moment of stillness. It's a moment of like, as if everything stands still between day and night. So it's just not to overthink it necessarily, but just be like I'm open to whatever. I'm just going to be in that still moment with the cosmos in this moment. Who knows what'll come through? I don't know. We don't need to know or have figured out what everybody else has done for millennia about it. But in that moment, we ourselves are a temple, and we ourselves are just bringing our awareness to the fact, okay, we have to we'll look up when the sun rises, when the sun sets that day for different time zones. I don't know. That's my 2 cents about it.
I love that.
For me, what was coming through is there's a couple of things actually. Initially, it was the courage of that seed to actually break free and actually go towards something that it can't see. So could that technically be its blind spot? I mean, like, right? Could be a blind spot.
Blind
Can't
spots
see it.
could be trying to reach for the light.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So acknowledging, honoring, being thankful for this powerful time that you've had to rest, this rest that you've had, this sacred pause that you've been in, and now knowing that you're gradually, gently going to get a little bit more active, a little bit more out in the public eye, or whatever it is that is going to be your light for this coming year, is also coming to me as well. And not that it's going to be like a full out sprint, but knowing that you've just had this powerful sacred rest and how beautiful that was. And again, knowing it's coming back. So again, like you were saying, sitting with the sunset the day before, sitting with the sunrise, and just really being so thankful and journaling the experiences that you've had for this year. And that, I mean, that's my plan. I mean, there's just keeping it nice and simple and just really thinking back, wow, that powerful rest. It was just so sacred and so enjoyed. And then how wonderful it is that the universe, the cosmos, gives us this cycle all the time.
I think it
There's a
reminds
place
us of
in
our humanness, that no matter
the
how
cycle, yeah.
crazy our day to day gets, we're still part of something larger.
It's interesting that people, I don't know, we're not even going to go into that, but do get depressed during the darkness. And it's like, well, is it the warmth of the sun that they're missing? So then they have all the lights that they can use? Or is it they're inside themselves and they're just not comfortable?
Hmm.
So, throwing things out there like boom, boom, boom. But there's a place in Scotland, and then I cannot pronounce it. But again, that's a wonderful place to for the winter solstice and the summer solstice. Um, I'll type it in, and you guys can figure out how to pronounce it because I can't say it.
Well, yes, I mean, that could be something that people could do too. Look in your local area. Is there anything happening that recognizes this really neat, substantial moment? That could be fun. You might find something really neat that actually happens every year in your town or around where you live. That would be so cool. I'm gonna have to do a little Google. Well, Adrienne, I don't know if you want to jump into the weather for us and we can get even more into the details of what is leading us into this time. Oh, she's May.
Am I frozen?
No, you're not.
Oh, I'm not frozen.
You're
Okay,
here.
that's good.
You're
I'm here.
live.
Don't know how long because you know how it's going to click off in a little bit because it always does that. It's
We'll
done
be
it once
ready.
already. So it's like, so, oh my goodness, so many good things, and I'm going to try to push my computer back without pushing it off the counter. Um, so we're coming into December, and it's really about integrating and recalibrating as you go into um, this next year that's coming up, which is about alignment. And um, we've just had a wonderful full moon, the last full moon of the year. So that was wonderful. And then we do have some really good conversations coming up between the stars and the planets, and it's just amazing. And on the ninth, 10th, really depending on where you are. But for me, I need water. But for me, it's on the ninth. And Neptune is going direct in the third house. So it's about communication and Neptune, dreamy delusions, but it's taking it from delusions to imagination, and then it becomes very tangible. And I say that because it's coming into the third house, which is about communication, and communication is verbal. You can physically express yourself, but this one is about the daring to dream. Like, okay, you've had that delusion, you've kind of mixed through it. It's coming direct now. It's been thinking about this delusion and maybe that's not going to work. Maybe this isn't going to work. Now it's going forward and we're taking it into the imagination stage, which is the stage before we actually put it right into, that's that air again. Um, it's going direct at that 29th degree, which is the anaretic wisdom degree. It's like last day of class, you are graduating now. It's all encompassing wisdom. When I was sitting with this and really bringing in the intuitive about it, it was about the divine wisdom, the divine dream, the day to day living the divine dream, as simple as it can be for you. It doesn't have to be grandiose. And then I was also getting that it's the closure of something. And because it's at that 29th degree, and the next degree is obviously one. Um, it's in a conjunct, or it's speaking very closely with Saturn. So it's about the lessons that you've learned, the disciplines that you have in place, the structures that you have in place, your long-term goals, how you're looking at them, how are you going to go forward with them. And Saturn really gets a bad rap. I like Saturn. It just always gets a bad rap for some reason. But when it's in Pisces, it's that disciplinary, but it's a little bit softer. It's not, it's just a little bit softer. Like, okay, what are our lessons? What do we learn from our lessons? And, what disciplines are we going to go forward with, and structures and things of that nature. It's in a sextile with Uranus, which means that there's going to be a sudden change, and not sudden necessarily bad, but a sudden change. And I say that it's not necessarily bad because I don't think any astrology is bad. I think it's just very informative and now it makes you aware. But it's in Taurus. So Taurus is stability, security, safety. So maybe when it's saying that the disruption is happening, if you can just like look at it a little bit, like maybe this disruption isn't for the worst. Maybe this shakeup is actually for the best. And that electricity comes in that we were talking about, that electrical wire. So maybe that electrical wire being mended with electrical tape now. So it's a sudden change of how it was looking before, how it was reacting before, and now it's going to react a little bit differently. And this is just one day, solidifying of dreams, getting that structure to come in.
What day
What I
was that?
also This
Sorry.
is the
The ninth.
9th or 10th of December, depending on where you're located. And this is Neptune going direct. I'm I'm just going to mention that there's a stellium here, and a stellium is 3 or more planets in the same sign. But this is the theme throughout the next 2 weeks, throughout the rest 2 weeks, that's the stelliums. So this is the first stellium that's showing up. And it's in the 3rd house, which is about communication. So you get to create the type of communication. It's at that 3rd house, which is around your root area. Bring it in alignment with what's going on in your root, your communication from your root, and the amplification of it being 3 or more. Let's not even go into the number 3. What's coming up around you for you guys around that conversation?
Well, I know. I mean, I'm thinking immediately like this is the holiday time. So, yeah, communication is going to be huge. We kind of talked about that in the last couple of episodes, I think. No, I got so not stuck, but just interested in what you said about the delusion becoming something that is then inspired, which then becomes something tangible. And I was thinking about this whole theme of darkness. And I'm like, we dream in the darkness. Like we create our fantasies and I guess in a way our delusions within that dark space, and we let ourselves create, and maybe we get carried away and create in ways that isn't beneficial. But I think even within a delusion, even within some dream that's not maybe rooted in I don't know, your truth or something, there are truths within it. And so it just made me think about how even within delusion, something is pointing you to what you really want if you'll just sit and kind of weed through, like, why is this fantasy, this delusion, why is this coming to me? What part of this is something that I really want to have created within like my physical reality, and how can I do that? It's kind of like just a little arrow kind of pointing you to something that you actually want to pursue. And I think the more aligned we are and the more aware we are with how we function and where our truths and the lies we create within ourselves are, that could be a really powerful kind of exercise to do at this time of just sitting with, where does my mind go when I'm in fantasy or in dream, and what of that can actually be created, the good parts can come forth. So I got real into that part.
Again, this is all about where we are in the darkness right now and how we're getting ready to come out of it. How are you going to come out of your seed, your shell, your
Yeah.
snail, whatever it is?
I also picked up on the delusion and all those D words you were using. Darkness, divine, don't even go there.
Dare to
Dreams. Okay,
dream.
dare. But what came to me as per usual is an acronym, because I love acronyms, which I think we could build a meditation around this acronym. But dark, DARK, delusion, awareness, radiates knowledge.
Melinda.
What do we do with
Right.
Snaps.
that? Now it's up to Rosalind to do something with that. And Adrienne, you can astrologize it. And like I just come up with the acronyms. But
You're very good.
I
Very good
do think
there.
that that is, yeah, I love I love to take delusion and turn it into something nourishing. That's fantastic.
Talk about
And
like alchemizing.
yeah. And the other thing I will need Adrienne to refresh on when Saturn is in Pisces, and I'll tell you what happens to me with that. What is that, a time, or is that's happening? Is that happen?
It's now. Yeah,
It's now.
Saturn's in
Okay.
Pisces right
I love Saturn too. And because it's like we grow through our lessons and we
now.
have to have structure. We can't just be in Jupiter run all the time expanding out. I'll lose my sense of everything. I am a Pisces moon, and I'm always joking with my students because I put in class, I set alarms in my phone for different points, because if I, and I'm like, and when it goes off, it's like, oh, there's Saturn in my Pisces moment right there. I'd have to, because I will, that's why I can meditate for an hour, it's just, I can lose sense of time. I need that Saturn to come in and be like, ding, ding, ding. We are in a structure right now. This is our intention. We do not need to go feeling into the universe all the time. We have something to do right now. So I love that. And I identify with that Saturn and Pisces. And I think it's very important. So yeah, that's what was coming through, and a lot of other acronyms started to come through, and I'm just gonna leave it at that though for now. It's really good.
Maybe that'll be a post on our Instagram. We'll go through
Yeah.
all of our little acronyms.
Yeah.
Um, so this on this day, there's actually two stelliums. There's a stellium in the 12th house, which is Sagittarius, which is fire. And then you've got the stellium in the third house, which is water. So like you've got that water and the fire and they're bubbling up. And what are they going to create? So I really
How
love that.
interesting.
And on the 11th or 12th, depending on where you are, Mercury goes direct in Sagittarius. Interestingly enough, we just talked about a stellium in Sagittarius. Um, and this is in the fifth house. So it's taken everybody that it was partying with in the 12th house and bringing them on into the fifth house. And it's about pleasure and how you're showing up. Okay. So it's in a stellium with Mars and the sun and an asteroid, which we will not get into. So we're coming out of Scorpio and the fog is lifted. Now we can start to see things a little bit clearer. Here we go. Okay, we're going to talk about T's now. So we've got tactile, tactful, we've got truth, because Mercury can kind of say some things, and especially when it's in Sagittarius, is it being tactful? It's the truth. But, maybe take a couple of chews on something, take a sip of water, because you got to think through what you're getting ready to say. You're 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 coming out of detective mode and you're jumping into philosopher mode in which you're going to teach somebody maybe or express something to somebody. And again, you're going to be tactful with it. It's truthful. Truth sometimes hurts. So, take that into the big picture when you're teaching this year, when you're teaching for for next year. Like it's going to be a teaching year. That's just what it is going to be. Whether you're just teaching something for yourself, your child, something else, it's going to be a teaching year. So how are you going to bring it forward with truth, obviously, because that's what we do. But are you going to be tactful about it? Um, Mercury is going to be in a sextile with Pluto. So it's about innovation. Pluto's still out of bounds, y'all. So he's just partying out there, but it's about innovations and concepts and those deep transformations that are going on. They're innovative, not necessarily creepy, just innovative, and that the concepts are innovative. Hold on to them, learn a little bit about some new apps that are going on. I've got a list over here of new apps that I was just learning about, and I was like, oh my gosh, but if I figure out how to use them, everything is going to be like this for me. So I'm like, maybe I will. um Also in a sextile with Uranus. Again, that electricity going up. And it's also in a sextile with the moon in Virgo. So what that's saying to me, tie up some loose ends, tie up the loose ends. We're getting ready to go into 2020, tie up loose ends. Perfect versus efficient. We Most of us want efficiency. Some of us want perfection, but it changes from day to day. Efficiency is efficiency. So tie up the loose ends efficiently. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to evolve with you in 2026. So tie them up. Nice little pretty package, whatever color ribbon you want to use, just tie them up. The moon's saying, let's tie these up. And then let's see, it's also in an opposition. And when it's in opposition, Mercury in opposition with Uranus, it's saying, I think I said it was sextile to Uranus. That's not true. No, I didn't. So it's in an opposition to Uranus. So Uranus is saying we're going to flip our script just a little bit, change our perspective. And again, bringing in that conversation of really, is it a disruption? Are disruptions all bad? Some disruptions are not bad. Changing jobs, disruption for the best, right? So they can be beneficial. And that's all I'm going to say about that day. And that's on the 11th and 12th.
My goodness, what a juicy month. We're only a few days in.
I know. And there's like 3 more events just in this 2-week period,
That's incredible.
because on the 15th, Mars is going into Capricorn. So wait, discipline structure, more discipline structure. Yay, I'm ready. 2026. Amazing how the cosmos, they just give
It's
you the opportunities for
incredible.
this. Yeah. And it's going into Capricorn in the second house, again, depending on where you are. And it's that get her done energy. Get her done. Get her done. You don't even have to get her. You don't need the H. Get her done, But do it with, I actually have, this is so funny. This is totally off topic. But at this time, I make a roller ball with basil and fractionated coconut oil, because basil, essential oil, gives you energy to get her done. It's called my get her done oil. And basil,
Adrienne.
gotta go.
Hot tip there.
Adrienne.
Dang.
Woo!
Absolutely.
Next on the product line.
Next on the product line. But you know what we want to keep in mind, because here we are in our darkness, we're looking at what's serving us, what's really part of us. We're looking at our integrity with the structure with integrity. And you're going to get success from it if it's coming from your truth, from your inner truth, from your integrity. So, consistency, integrity is going to bring success. Okay. And Mars loves, I put down Mars heart, Capricorn. Right. Everything is like in glyphs here. But it loves to be in Capricorn. It loves that motivation. It loves that inspiration. It's like, yes, let's go get things done. Let's get it done. We've got this structure. Boom, boom, boom. It gets done. And it's a resilient energy, because you've got that earth, that Capricorn earth, that is bringing in those structures, bringing in that discipline. And once you find the structures, once you see them, because we're coming into the light now, once you start to see those structures you have in place, maybe refine them. Again, we're talking about like the illusion or the delusion into the more tangible. So you've got idealism now coming into realism. So again, this is the next, see why I get so excited about this stuff?
It's incredible.
I know. And then this energy, just Mars in Capricorn, is telling you, you can build. It's when I was in meditation, I was thinking about this. I kept, you can build. You can build. And with that Capricorn as your foundation, as your ground, and Mars, just stay in your integrity. Then the Mars is in sextile to the moon in Scorpio. So again, you're going deep, but you're solidifying going deep. The roots are deep. The emotional connections are deep. They're from integrity because you've done this detective work. Scorpio, girl, you got a strategy. You've done your detective work. Now you're putting it into place. And for them to be speaking the same language when they're in a sextile, they're talking the same language, they're partying. They might be skipping to a slightly different beat, but they're skipping in the same direction. Okay. I just came up with that out of nowhere. Um, but we are in a square to Neptune. And she's in Pisces. Everybody's a she or he, depending on what I feel like calling them. Um, and because it's in Pisces, it's talking about your spirituality here. Okay. That can be a part of your integrity, should be part of your integrity, in my opinion. It's part of my integrity, my spirituality, because it's something I want to make sure I bring forward. But it's a conversation, knowing why and who. And these things will keep you motivated throughout the season so that you can continue to be successful because you have that consistency.
Yeah.
Like block here, block here, block here. Cosmos is just putting the blocks down for you. Brilliant job. I love the conversations that are going on just in these 2 days right here. It's just amazing. And then we get a stellium on the 18th of December in Sagittarius. A stellium in Sagittarius. What I'm saying? Powerful. We're going deep into our subconscious, but we're going up into our subconscious. We're focusing on those Sagittarian themes. We're exploring, philosophizing, getting the information out there tactfully. Okay, I make sure that I add that in there. And then on the 19th, we get the new moon. And the new moon is at 28 degrees. So it's becoming that wisdom because 29th degrees is wisdom. Boom, it's right there. Again, we're planting our seeds, we're broadening our horizons because it's going to be in Sagittarius. But she's also looking at the discomforts because it's at the bottom of a yod, which you can think about a triangle that's not like perfect. The new moon is at the bottom holding on to the other things that are in aspects. So it's asking you to broaden your horizons, plant your seeds, and keep them specific to your life purpose or your mission, and not to put any heavy weight on you. I don't know my life purpose. Oh my God, I don't know my life purpose so far. No, day to day. What is your day? Live every day. What life are you going to bring today? Is it going to be fulfilling your purpose? If you love to hear little kids' laughter on the bus as they're getting off or on the bus, or when they're playing with whatever favorite toy it is, not necessarily doing this, but that joy that they have, if that's what brings you joy, brings your passion, and be in it, sit in it for a little bit, see how you can maybe plant a little bit of that seed into your adult, serious, stressful situations that we come up with. Um, the new moon is going to be in a square with Saturn and with Neptune. And what I wrote down and what was coming through for me is, we're going to need the structure. And okay, those days have passed you by. You didn't necessarily do anything structured. It doesn't matter that they passed you by. They're still under your belt. They're still part of your earth, part of what's pushing you upward towards the sun. So maybe just put one or two in now. It's all. Because the more discipline you have, the more structure you have, things are going to happen. Things are going to grow for you. But when you start to look at yourself like, I didn't, and I forgot, and I didn't get a chance, let that stuff go. Just because the energy has passed, that specific part of the energy, the electrical part of the energy, the introduction of the energy, you still are introduced to it. You still can take advantage of it and move forward with it. Okay. And we have another sextile. Okay. In Sagittarius between the sun, the new moon, Venus, and Mercury. So communication, 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 clarity, kindness. Um, and then, I get that sense that Venus is saying, I know we're in a fire sign. I know Sagittarius is a fire sign, but you know what? I'm going to create something beautiful with this fire sign. I'm going to love it. Everybody's going to love it. They're going to come to my party and they're going to be like, girl, you knocked it out of the park. Stay consistent, get some structurals in there, just a few, one or two. Could be every morning I get up, I have a glass of water, I do some stretches because I know that that's going to keep me fluid. That's going to keep me moving. If that's what your goal is, remember what your goal is. And if you haven't written down your goal, take a moment, write it down. That's part of the structure. That's the beginning of the structure. Write it down. Winter solstice, y'all, on the 21st. Again, it's just like release the limiting self-beliefs. Let it just go away. It's about transcendence. Transcends. Can't say the word. Mouth hurts.
Transcendence?
Thank you very
Okay.
much. This is our final stellium for this 2-week period. It's in the 11th house, and it's in Capricorn. So again, we've got those earthy roots and the sun, Mercury, no, the sun, Mars, the new moon, and then Venus are all there, along with quite a few asteroids. We're not going to go into asteroids because, girl, it's a whole nother level. But it's like, okay, let's be light and heartwarming with these structures that we're putting in place. Oh, I got to put this structure in place and that structure. I'm going to put this one here and this one here and this one here because I can see the vitality in it. Live into the vitality of it. Get ready to birth this new you that has an evolved integrity based on everything that's been going on this past year. Everything that you've looked at during your sacred rest time, and you're going to bring it into whatever you're cultivating for this coming year. And it's going to be an expansive, amazing time.
It certainly sounds like it. My goodness. I mean, if the cosmos weren't preparing us for exactly what this time is for us, that is just so, so neat. I think yeah, and I appreciate that you said, like, if you've missed something, don't go around like kicking yourself, being like, oh no, I didn't utilize this energy. And it's like, no, just it's here. Sit with it, use it, reflect. And I just love and especially kind of what you ended on. I was just thinking like these structures to help us, not restrict us. Like this time of reviewing and evaluating what we want to take forward from our imagination and delusions and what's something that we want to create tangibly and bring forward through the fire and all the things. Like it's all for us. Like this is our life and we get to live it the way that we feel called to, and we get to use these energies to help us do that. And yeah, it's never about creating restrictions or some type of lack of freedom within your own life. It's just how do you get to your flow? Like how do you get to the state where you feel like you're really living for you, for maybe the purpose you were put here for? Like, yeah, I think looking at those dreams and fantasies and what you really want to live in, and then you're fully supported with everything going in the cosmos to be able to either release, bring forward structure, work with, create, and then have everything backing you up to like do it successfully. That is so, so neat. Whoa. Melinda, what do you think?
I'm feeling into the fire and the earth elements a lot here in terms of how they're great to just get things done and have adventure. And there is something about Sagittarian boldness. You both know my mom is a Sag, and she's a quintessential energy of Sagittarius in a lot of ways. And there's something about the fact that she is not tactful in certain ways about expression. I celebrate that. I say, go ahead and we can put like, if we have to be monitoring ourselves all the time and to not put our foot in our mouth, I mean, there's a balance,
That would be
obviously.
exhausting all the
But
time.
like, come on, like, speak your truth sometimes. It's okay. It's not to offend anybody. If you get to speak your truth, there's something about that fire that lays down a road for you, and other people go, oh, I know where she's coming from. She's not hiding anything. She is who she is. So we can deal with that. And we can even like actually support her in that. I like that, So like the fact that it's coming in Mercury and we're in the sea, and now Sagittarius transitions into the Capricorn. And it's like those two work together to really, at the turn of the wheel, at this moment, to bring us into the new year and getting in the new year one, get our stuff done, get our stuff feeling really authentic, really doing what excites us, really planning adventures and getting out of our way, get out of the water a little bit sometimes, I love the water, that, but sometimes I'm like, okay, listen, enough with the water. I don't want to, I've felt plenty in my life. I want to dance in the fire and the earth and kick up, in that and just express and let it out. And it's inspiring. The astrology is inspiring. Adrienne, the alchemist astrologer, coming through. Of course, I had more acronyms. Dreams, okay, dark. Dreams and reality converge with a K. I looked up a lot of K
spell it any way
and
you
words.
want to.
Can spell it anyway. Or dreams and reality knit, like KNIT, knitting. They knitting together. There's that, And then I was like, also discipline and rainbows knit, like discipline is not a bad word.
No.
A lot of people do feel it
rainbows.
is.
Yeah.
Discipline and rainbows.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I had something like, oh, dreams and rawness knocking. I don't know.
Love
I
it.
don't
Are
know.
coming off of a water trine. So on the 9th, we are definitely still on that water trine that's been going on for weeks and weeks. So yeah, we're coming out of that water. But yeah, that scorpion kind of like sensual. Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking that, Adrienne, but thank you.
You always think
I was not. But yeah, now I am.
now you are. As a matter of fact.
As a matter of fact, I was just like, knock at the door. Just knocking at the door.
Hilarious. Well,
Yeah.
I think, that is just, I don't know. I keep getting stuck on like, I think the word discipline almost seems like a bad word sometimes. Like we get so like, don't tell me I need to be disciplined. I want to do things the way I want to do them. But you can do that with your own discipline and you can set yourself up for success. And like you were saying, Adrienne, find apps that help you be more disciplined in your work, and then you're actually more in your freedom because you're not bogged down with the things that you can't mentally organize or do. It's just
And beat yourself up about it. Like, oh, I'm never going to get to that. Why bother? Why bother? Okay.
Discipline comes from the word
Mhm.
disciple.
Okay.
Disciple. What's a disciple? It's a student. What are we learning? What's learning us? What is wrong with that? That is what we need to be doing in life to change and shift and grow and keep our curiosity fed and our fires lit. So it's like part of that creative drive to be, to just keep learning, to be a disciple. And it's like daily discipleship. What do you want to be studying every day? That's not hard to do.
no. It's not like we're going after things we're not interested in either. So you're being a disciple of the things that light you up and the things that you want to pursue. So
Exactly. Like the laughing kids on the bus or the playground. Like
exactly.
I had to, what did I have to, oh, when I had to get my passport, my global entry, I had to go to the town hall, the city hall, or whatever it's called here. And right across the street is this private school, and the little kids were out there. They were laughing and
Mm.
giggling. They were doing tug of war. And I just sat in my car and I was like, oh my God, my appointment. It was just so, I was so sweet. And it just very, I don't have any Taurus in my chart, but I definitely felt that sweetness of that joy that they were having.
Yeah, so cute. Well, what a lot of really juicy, interesting, helpful things to sit with as we move through this month. Yeah, it gets me excited for the new year because there's part of me that's like, I could sit in the darkness for a little while longer. Like, I don't need to come out just yet. But knowing that like the inspirations and the things that can come forward are being really, really supported, I think that gives some encouragement to start moving a little bit. But any last little thoughts
Yeah, of
before we
course, I have
close?
another thought. Um, and I'll do the card last because I know Melinda's going to be riffing right off of that for sure. But the way that the Earth does it, the way the cosmos does it, it doesn't just flip this light switch and boom, here we are.
Yeah.
It's a gradual. So here, like maybe it's 12 hours, and then the next day it's going to be 11 hours of darkness, and then 10 hours. So you still have that opportunity to stay in that darkness, just not as long. So it's almost okay, it's coming. It's going to be at that point where it's going to be the shortest night of the year and the longest day. Just again, be consistent with whatever it is that you're doing. You're going to be ready for the next step. Block.
Yeah.
Foundations. But today, the card that I pulled, interestingly enough, is about Neptune. And in tarot, Neptune is about the hangman.
Yes.
So perspective around discipline, the word discipline, perspective around structure, the word structure. Just what is your perspective? Like, oh my God, it's going to be low daylight now. I mean, high daylight now, and I'm not ready. Or is it just going to be like, hey, daylight's coming. I'm ready. See what I am growing into this year, this season, you know,
And a sacred pause.
and a sacred pause.
Yeah, voluntary, not doing. Put the hands behind the back. Feel your crown illuminated. Upside down, it's interesting. Like if he went down into earth head first with his lit up head, what would he see down there?
Mhm.
That's interesting. Yeah. No,
Courage and trust
I love
comes through
that.
too. Like you got to have courage because you're your hand behind your back.
Yeah.
Courage. Yeah. Going into that darkness now with light.
No, that's perfect. I love it. Yeah.
Any other last thoughts, Melinda?
I mean, I'll admit that I pulled a tarot card to speak to the hanged man. And the tarot card, as you said that, and Adrienne said, I might come with something. And my fingers went, and I pulled Justice, which is, guess what? Perfect equilibrium day and night. Perfect moment of like justice to sit and feel the moment. And
Yeah.
the blind spot is there. I don't know what's behind that. What's behind that red curtain? Truth, illumination, radiance,
The middle way.
the middle way. So,
You can
yeah,
even see it behind the throne, like as big as what he's sitting on. You can still see that illumination there coming forward.
yeah, it's just beautiful. So, yeah, I think those two
Oh
cards
God, we
really,
can't keep
yeah.
talking about this.
No, I mean, if we kept
What
going, we'd be
I
like,
know it'd be like forever, but I just noticed how one foot is forward. So it's like small steps forward. See that?
So true. A little white
Uh-huh.
foot, little white
innocent,
shoe.
pure.
Mm-hmm.
carrying truth,
Yep.
and the high heart clasp of that square, the four directions, but of course inside the rose.
Being in the red robe. Yeah, we could keep going.
All the elements. I know, just over and over. Like, let's just riff on the card, like let's just
We
pull
could do like a
card.
card
Bam, here we go.
inspiring a whole
Absolutely.
episode.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yes. Tune in, everyone, as we,
I
till the
know.
next. We'll be speaking till the summer solstice on this nonstop. We could
Yes.
probably do that.
We probably could, honestly, and it would be so fun. Well, before we ramble, we are so grateful that you listened in today. We hope that you took a lot of really interesting and helpful observations about this time of year, with the winter solstice just right around the corner. Yeah, just encouragement for you to sit in the darkness still. We're getting to that point, but just those final bits of reviewing of what, needs to be released and what's coming to your awareness. And now, too, the inspiration to look at your fantasies and delusions and what from your dreams that you're actually wanting to see in real physical life. What is it? Let that start to kind of like marinate and inspire you of what could be coming in this new year. And just knowing that you're fully supported by the cosmos, with all of that energy to create the discipline and not in any way to restrict yourself, but to help yourself get to where you want to be and how you want to feel. So, ladies, let us say our goodbyes. Thank you all for being here. We will see you in a couple weeks. Enjoy the solstice, and we will talk very, very soon.
Adieu.
10.
Adieu.
Episode 10. Bye.
Bye.
Winter
And
solstice
bye.
nails.
Oh.
Ooh, look at her. She's so fancy.
Drop the mic.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.